Hello, so this time we're going to look at the travel little box for your distress minis for when you're on the go. And obviously you can put your archivals in there and your Eyes Ink minis, whatever mini ones you want. Alternatively, you don't even have to have inks in there. You could be putting your tools in there, your scory tools, whatever you want to take around with you on the go. So I better take them out, otherwise I'll need them. So this is an inked version, the same as the drawer storage, but then I've done it again in white, and we've done that with pattern papers, and that's the same. And I've even decorated on the inside as well, and again it pushes right in and then comes round. And for the closure, I've stuck some card on there, look, and then you just tuck this piece in. I just run my nail across and it just slips in and keeps it all shut. But it's a nice solid little travel case. So just to show you here, this part here is exactly the same as the drawers that we made for our first unit. So you can go ahead and make one of them, and I've got one cut out ready. So for the wrap, I'll just go over the measurements just in case you're watching this one first. This wrap is 17.5 centimetres by 9.5 inches, and I have scored it at 7.5 and 10 centimetres, and then 2.5 centimetres from each end, and then I've just cut my little segments. So we're just going to fold that, and we're going to put it together in exactly the same way as we did in the first video. So we'll grab our glue, and we put the glue on the inside of the tab. And then we're going to fold the plain piece in. The tab comes over, and then this piece goes over the top. And then bring it round. Just use your finger and thumb. You've got to get that nice and flush. When you're happy, turn it over and press down. And then the same on this side, plain, tab, and that one. And it just goes together perfectly. Okay. So there's our wrap. And then for our drawer, this one measures 11 centimetres by 23. And we've scored it at 2 centimetres on all 4 sides. So we fold those ones in. And we'll glue them up. So just remember to get these nice and flush. If at this point you can't get it flush, it means you haven't cut right down to that point. So just take a little care when you're cutting your little segments out. I tend to just give mine a little squeeze. And don't worry if you've got bits hanging over here. Again, it's just down to your cut lines. So that gives us our drawer. And then I've gone ahead and done my little separator. This one was 9 centimetres by 19, and I scored at 3.5, 4.5 and 5.5. And that goes inside. Give it a firm rub. And then this is my front. So we'll glue that. This is 5 centimetres by just a tiny little bit short of 19. And we've scored it at 2.5, which is halfway. So pop that over. I like to give mine a little tap, make sure I've got it right solid down, and just keep sliding back and forth just till that glue bonds. And then give that a nice press. Get right in and get the corners done. Just check it. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so we're going to put the tab on now. And if you remember, we just need to bring our little board in, because this helps us line it up. So turn it around so that the front of the drawer is facing up. And then you're going to pop your tab between the 8 and 11. So just make sure it's not overhanging the bottom. And then we've cut a little strip here. This is 2 centimetres by 18.5. And this just hides your little tab. Oh, the tab was 3 centimetres by 3 centimetres. And it was scored at 1.5. And then I just used a little corner rounder. Okay. So we have our drawer tucks in there nice and tight. So for the wrap, you'll need a sheet of A4 and a guillotine, and we need to cut this 20 centimetres so 20 by 23. And then onto your scoreboard. So you want this so that it's 23 across the top there, and you're going to score at 2.5, that's 2.5, 10.5, 13, and 21. And then we're going to turn it over and we're going to fold, 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 and fold. So you'll notice that this edge is slightly smaller than this edge, and we want the bigger edge on the right, because what's going to happen is we're going to stick this on here, but we're going to butt it right up to that crease. Like so, and I've done it so that there's a little gap top and bottom. So I'll just glue this up, make sure I've got it the right way round, and make sure that I've got the open edges going down. When I say the open edges, I mean from where we put the tabs over. Excuse my daughter. Okay, so I'm just checking now that I've got an equal border top and bottom. I have. I'm going to give that a nice press, nice and firm, and then I'm going to glue on the back here. And I'm going to pull this one up, but I'm going to take it over. Give that a little rub. Make sure that that glue bonds. So what I am going to do now, I'm going to take my drawer out and I'm just going to pop my fingers in and give that a nice firm press. Perfect. Okay, so when it come to doing the closure, I thought, what am I going to do? I could put some Velcro down there, but I thought it would be hard to pull it. So I thought, right, let's do a little pokey thing. So to start off with, I'm just going to take my scissors and just cut a little angle off of each corner. I'm just going to check. Yeah, that's the same. I'm not happy. Let me just put a little bit more glue down here. I obviously didn't put enough in. And then it can settle while we're doing the other bits. Just give it a minute to grab. Perfect. Okay, so I now need to cut myself a little strip. That'll be enough. And I'm going to use my trimmer again because I need to get the right measurement. So it's 1.5 centimetres by yeah, that'll do, by 20. Okay, now what I want to do is stick that onto here, but with the tiniest bit of glue on that side and that side, and then just across the bottom. My 3mm tape, I think, would just be a little bit too much, so I can stick that on. Just make sure I've got it right. Got a little slither to cut off there. Perfect. So that when this comes round, once you, you watch this pop out, once you've got one side in, you can kind of use your nail and just slide it along and it'll just pop in. There we go. So that's in there perfect, but I am going to open it because that glue is still a little bit wet. But we've got the closure on and in place. So with that in there, that just works perfectly. Now, for decoration, you can use, you can ink it or you can use your pattern papers. So let's have a look what I've got. Now, I did bring them back with me. Do you know what? I bet I haven't. I'm just going to grab my box and see what's in here. I was going to use my Blissful papers, but I've left them at the shop. So I think for this one, I'm going to use some of the spotty ones, or the, yeah, I'm going to use spots. And I'm going to use, you see, never give me a choice of papers. Oh, I'm going to use, oh no, I can't use that because it's not a full sheet. Grr. So, I will be with you in a moment. Oh, I think we've got some of that nice stripy card. Do you know what? I'm just going to, I could use a mix. Let's use some of this grey first. So I'm going to cut some layers to mat and layer and cut the bits. So I think I will use the trimmer. So I know that this is 8 centimetres, so I'm going to reduce that down to 7.5. So 7.5 by, should be 19.5 because it's 20 long. Absolutely. And we'll need another one of those because we've got the front. So 7.5 by 19.5. And then the middle section is 2.5, so we need a 2 centimetres. And we'll need 2 of them. And they need to be by 19.5 as well. One. And 2. Now, not only are these going to be good for carrying your little inks around, but also maybe you like making gifts. Maybe you like at Christmas, you like making little chocolates. How nice would they look just sat inside that little box? Maybe you don't put the divider in and it's for jewellery. There's so many options, and I just think it's a lovely little handy case. It's just something a little bit different. Now, after I did the Distress Oxide storage, a lady did ask me, can you do it for the Distress Minis? And I says, well, yeah, I probably could, but I don't think I'm going to, because there's tins, and I'm sat here with tins. But it was in my head then, and I couldn't get it out. So that's why I did it, because it was just like, oh, do you know what? It's just going to look so nice on my desk with everything else. And then I'm going to put my little panels down the side. You can mix and match your colours. You don't have to stick to the same paper. Pop that one on there. I could be inking these. I could be stamping them. I'm just showing you the blank canvas that you can then take to the next level. We don't put any paper on this piece. We've done that piece. If I remember rightly, it's 1 sheet of pattern paper, which can't be bad. I'm going to tuck that inside there, like so. And then I need a piece for there. So this is a slightly different size. I know that that is 7.5, so I'm going to cut it at 7. Oh no, don't do this to me. It's all right, me blade's getting blunt. It needs a new one. I'm going to cut it at 19 first and see if that's right. No, you see, I should have just... It's 18.5. Perfect. And then I need... yeah, that's it. We'll come back to that. Let's stick this one on first, because I'm just going to change it up and just put a different one on the inside and on the drawer front. Bit of glue up to the edge. It looks lovely already. I've got one little bit I want to put on there, and I know that that is going to be 1 centimetre. By, is that on the outer? So it needs to be by 19.5. 1 centimetre by 19.5. I mean, all you're doing with your matting and layering is you're just reducing 0.5 centimetre off of each dimension. Whoopsie. Start again. Okay. So as you go through, just double check. That side glue on this side should now be dry. So just get it in and use your nail. It's always the way, isn't it? You know, you do it. There we go. So that's looking nice. So now what I need to do is have a look in my stash and I want a different In fact, I could use the same on there. I'm going to just use the same. I'm going to be boring. So this needs to be 2 centimetres. Don't move. By 18 and a half. And just to make it a little bit easier for myself, I'm going to pull the drawer out and then just add that on. And it'll be the same size as the little panel that we put on to hide our tab. So if you wanted to save cards, you could just go in straight with your pattern paper. But I like it for the stability. I just think it makes it really nice and solid. So there is your little travel ink wrap, nice and easy, and it just depends how you decorate them to how they look, whether you use black card, white card, craft card, pattern paper, inky. The choice is yours. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and don't forget, it doesn't have to just be for inks, it can be for tools. You don't have to put that divider in. One thing I would say is if you don't put the divider in, then matte and layer the bottom again. It just gives it that little bit more rigidity. You say that one quickly. And just finishes it all off. So just, I'll do it on this one. Look, I'm going to tuck that in there. And just slide your finger down, and that's in. Alternatively, you could tie it with ribbon, or you could use a, what do you call that? Hook and loop, Velcro, that's it. I could have tied in, I could have matte and layered some ribbon in before I put my my pattern papers on. So that's my 3 different colours. So I could take 30 inks around with me if I wanted to. The choice is yours. Thank you.